damn. When I look at this action figure with this outfit, it makes me think of one thing. That's Mr. Monday Night's debut back in the still WWF of 1997. Remember that match when I wrestled a very young Bon Jovi wannabe, as the King, Jerry Lawler called him, Jeff Hardy. Also, I think of Barely Legal 97. That was obviously my newest cool outfit at the time. And those matches were back to back from what I remember, you know. So I wore it for Barely Legal. Could have been the first time. I don't know. But I wore it at Barely Legal. And I remember the legs rolled up on me. I didn't really like that about it, you know, but that happens sometimes. But at the time, when I think about what was going on in my career, see, I'd been in ECW for a little over a year at that point. I was really getting the feel of ECW, really making it my own, if you will. And man, I was really looking forward to the company growing and doing a pay-per-view. That's huge by indie promotion level standards of 1997. You know, it's like we're gonna get action figures. What? For real? Boom, that's how I felt about the pay-per-views as well. Like, boom, it's really going to happen? And then when it happens, guess what? RVD's not on the card. Well, I was sought after at the time. I was in demand. I was in demand for most of my career. At least that's what I thought. And that's also like what the dirt sheets wrote. So I couldn't believe that Paul was going to not have me on the pay-per-view. The first chance ECW has to show the whole world what it's all about. And I already knew that Sabu and I were the best there because Sabu told me. So it had to be true. And I was offended because I really loved ECW. A lot of outsiders or even insiders would look at ECW as being right in the backyard of the WWF, the Titan Towers right there in Stamford, Connecticut. The word was that they watched our show. Word was that RVD was desired and had a job if he wanted to go to WWE. Word was I could go to WCW if I wanted to. And the thing was, Paul had to have known this, so how's he going to slight me and leave me sitting on the bench for this pay-per-view? Obviously, I was like, well, fuck that then. I went to a WCW show in Savannah, Georgia. It was the town that I lived in, so it wasn't like I flew to meet them on the road to have a meeting, but I went backstage, said hi to some people. I think it was in Savannah, Georgia, if I remember right. And yeah, actually, yeah. Whoa, this was the one and only time that I met Macho Man Randy Savage. Now that I think about it, that was at a bar later on down on River Street. But anyway, at the venue, I was there to say hi, Louis Spicoli, hi, Scotty Riggs, American Males, and anyway, Eric Bischoff actually pulled me aside and had a talk with me and said, you know, that he would like me to come there if I'm interested. And even through a couple of details, I see you making X amount of money, you know, within a scale escalating, you know, to this in year 2, this in year 3. something to really think about, you know. And afterwards, it was all over the dirt sheets, the gossip, that I was going to go to WCW. Because anyone that had an offer to go make some real money instead of wrestling in the wet carpet dressing room of Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania for ECW, well, anybody in their right mind would be going. Anybody sensible, anyway. And so the rumors were pretty strong that I was going to be leaving. And I thought maybe, you know, is that what the universe is telling me to do here? Paul had a meeting with me, which was before Barely Legal, and he said, what can I do to get you to stay here and not go to WCW? And I said, well, I mean, there's some things, and we talked it out. We talked it out, and Paul had a great idea. He said, what if you told everybody that they could expect to see you on Mondays? You belong on Mondays where the true talents are. And you tell them, I'll see you on Monday. I'm too good for here. And what if I got you on WWF television? We swerve everybody. I thought, wow, well, that sounds amazing. The spotlight would be on me for the entire industry to be looking at. I mean, that's one of those moments where we would, as we say, pop the business. But could you really do that? How are you going to make that happen, Paul? See, I was still naive to the idea of him working with Vince McMahon, Vince helping us out. I didn't understand any of that. But lo and behold, next week, there I am on Monday Night Raw. After I told everybody after my match at Barely Legal, I said, you know, I didn't shake Lance's hand. I said, this match made me worth more money here, and Rob Van Dam is worth more money elsewhere. They knew what I meant. Those fans knew I was leaving. They already knew I was leaving anyway because the dirt sheets said that I was going to be leaving, that it was my time. And when it came down to it, I really didn't want to leave. I loved ECW. I loved the style. I loved the artistic freedom. I thought it was really cool. Even when wrestling wasn't necessarily cool, to the standards of a young adult, ECW was. You didn't even have to be a fan to stop on it when you're flipping through the channels. It had that car crash appeal. It was awesome. It was setting new standards. Everybody was entertained by it. And you know what? I really wanted to stay there, and I wanted ECW to grow. And so instead of leaving to go to a bigger company, I was hoping that I could grow inside the company and force the company to have to grow to fit me. Now, for trivia sake, when I wrestled Jeff Hardy on Monday Night Raw, that wasn't the first time ECW was on Raw. That wasn't the first invasion. Before I was even part of this, they did an invasion before where Sabu jumped off the letters of the Raw. And you guys all remember that. That happened before I was part of this. And then my invasion was there with Jeff Hardy, and I wrestled Flash Funk, and I wrestled the Headbangers, and I wrestled... not sure who else right now, but anyway, it was a short-lived gimmick because my heart was in ECW. At that meeting, when Paul suggested that he could do this for me and for ECW, And he could get me on WWE television representing ECW while at the same time representing WWF on the ECW's TV. I was an outsider to both companies. And everybody sucked it up. Everybody bought it. I was a heel. I was an outsider in either company. I had nowhere that I seemed to belong to. And for that moment, it was super hot. That was the birth of Mr. Monday Night. But what happened was when Paul said, you know, I need to know you're going to stay here if we're doing all this. We worked out the business ends of it, you know what I mean? Signed a contract for the first time, a guaranteed on paper, good competitive contract. Nation favors, favored nations, even though I think Dreamer said he had the same thing and someone else had favored nations too, which means that nobody else can make more than you. Anyway, in order to move forward, Paul had to trust me to put me on WWE television. He had to trust me. And so then what he got me to do was to commit myself to ECW all the way. Fuck no, I'm not going to take Eric Bischoff's offer, Paul. This sounds way more cool. I'll stay here in ECW and I'll wrestle for WWF. And I'll do what I can to help the company. So now when I go to WWF, guess what? They want me to sign. They want me to stay there. They wanted me anyway. And now there I am in their hands on their television beating WWF talent. I didn't realize that I was there to stay. How would I know that? Nobody told me that. Paul said the whole time, you know, it was very much like, watch your back. Don't trust anybody here. You know, we felt like they hated us being there. We felt like at that time, like WWF didn't like ECW anyway. And that was the mindset that we were in. So don't leave your bags unattended, whatever. As soon as something smells of foul, say the word, boom, we're out of here. As soon as they try to fuck ECW. And that was the mindset that I went to WWF with, donned this outfit as Mr. Monday Night, and I was there to try to make ECW grow. So as soon as they started doing things that weren't consistent with that, I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Because I was confused, because I didn't know I had a fucking job there. And so Paul was like, you want to go? Let's go. Say the word, we'll go. It's like, what's going on? I mean, can I get a little advice here? I mean, why are they even wanting to do this? I don't get it. Why would I be here with ECW, but then be wrestling random WWF guys and putting them over? Like, what is it they're trying to do? That don't sound good to me. Paul says, well, let's go then, and we left. So that was a very short-lived little moment in my career, and that's what I think about when I see this outfit. I'm sure I had some other great matches. I usually get to wear an outfit several times, at least 3 or 4. Sometimes they fade quicker than others. Sometimes they rip. They always stretch out. The fabric dies after a while, but they only look new for like the first night. So sometimes it was easy to get outfits from Joe Holland, you know, boom, and have a bunch of them. And sometimes it was a little harder, so I'd have to wear the best of what I got. You know what? We'll talk about those another time. Damn.